afternoon. Today is the 20th of September. It's actually 6 years to the day since I started my channel. But we're not going to talk about that specifically. We're going to talk about something else, which I suppose is related to the sort of early days of the channel, and that is MG Motor UK. Their models that they are bringing out, reliability of some of their older models, and also what's going on in terms of the plan that they seem to have for dominating the UK car market. So MG Motor UK is a company that was formed in about 2007-2008. It was the successor company to MG Rover, which collapsed in 2005, and from the beginning has been owned by Shanghai Automotive, also bought Nanjing Automotive. Both companies owned various rights to MG and Rover, but never the Rover name actually. But they merged in 2007, and so from 2008, when they brought MG back as a brand in this country, it was effectively a new company. The model that they were producing was the TF, a very heavily revised version of the TF first launched in 2002, which again was a revision of the F from 1995. They were sold until 2011, and that was one model brand. It didn't sell too many of them, but at that time, small dealerships that had the MG Rover brands and other British brands previously took on that little franchise. One of them was Summit Garage, the one to Brown and Gammons. There's various others. These days, MG is a much bigger company. They outsold a lot of brands that you would sort of imagine would be kind of bigger than them last month, for example. The MG HS is one of the top 10 selling cars of this year, and that's actually the old one, not the new model that's just been launched. So they are quite a force in the market, and they've come from virtually nowhere in the last 5 years, and a lot of people are buying them. Their cars are very affordable. They come with a 70 or 80,000 mile warranty, and there's lots of electric cars, there's petrol cars, there's hybrid cars, there's plug-in hybrids, lots of SUVs, which is what people seem to want, and they've been very successful. I have personally tested an awful lot of their products over the last 5 years in particular, and right at the beginning of the channel, the second video ever was a review of our 2014 MG3 Style we bought in 2016. That car was sold in 2020, and I can't remember seeing them on the road anymore. It's done quite high mileage now. It wasn't too bad when we had it. We had a few issues with it, but it was a very cheap car. Brand new, they were under £10,000. But the products have improved. They did assemble cars from knockdown kits at Longbridge for a while. In fact, our MG3 was built at Longbridge, or partially assembled, I think the correct term would be for that. They don't do that anymore. All the cars are imported from China. And the last few months we've actually launched 3 brand new cars: the Cyberster, the new ZS and the new HS. And I'm hoping next week, at the time of recording this, to go to an S&T test day and actually have a go in all 3 of those: the Cyberster, the new HS and the new ZS. Mr. Quirk from Planet Auto Channel's already driven the brand new HS. He said it's really good. I've had a little look at the videos he's been doing, and it looks good. It looks fine. So lots of models, people seem to be enjoying them, and market share continues to increase, the sales continues to increase. The problem is though is that with the dealers, and we'll have a look at the letter from Summit Garage in Dudley, where I've been working with them for 5 years, and their decision recently to drop the MG franchise for new cars. They are still an MG service and warranty centre, and they still sell used MGs. They don't sell new ones anymore. We'll look at some of the reasons they explain about in a second. But just to say that they are trying to sort of push as many cars as possible and take as much market share as they can, which is fine. Companies got to make money, and they've got to sell what they want, and the range of electric cars that they have, and plug-in hybrids, and petrol SUVs, and the MG3 Hybrid Plus has just been launched. Seems to be finding favourable buyers. I wouldn't say these are perfect cars at all. The HS in particular I tested recently, which is the older model, the 2023 facelift car. That is a bit of a disappointing car the way it drives, but a lot of people won't mind that so much. What I'm going to talk about once we've read this letter that Summit Garage has sent out to a lot of its customers is actually some of the issues that I've heard with some of their models, and just my kind of thoughts about this idea that just trying to give as much market share as possible might not necessarily be the best thing. But yeah, we will now go park up somewhere and we'll talk about that. So we just pulled over a second because I can't read this whilst I drive. It's not very safe. So the letter from Summit Garage, it says, and bear in mind Summit Garage, they were an MG dealer right from the reintroduction of the brand in 2008 all the way through till earlier this year. Before that they were a dealer for Rover and MG, lots of other British brands, and they have been since I think the sort of 50s or even before that. Dear valued customer, I am a customer of Summit Garage. I've had them do work on my car before. We hope this message finds you well. At Summit Garage Dudley, we deeply value your trust and loyalty, which has been the cornerstone of our success since 1945. A lot of the older MG dealers, such as Brown and Gammon is another one. They've been an MG franchise for a long time. Sort of smaller ones, small family-owned ones. Your continued support inspires us to maintain our tradition of exceptional service and evolve in ways that best serve your automotive needs. It was for this reason that we chose to stop providing brand new MG vehicles. Seeing ever increasing targets from the manufacturer, that we will not be able to offer the highest levels of customer service to our customers. To us, all at Summit Garage, this is simply not acceptable. What was kind of happening, from what I understand, I did ask John about this, is that the MG were saying that they need to take more and more cars, like even if there weren't necessarily customers for them, they needed to take more and more cars, register more and more cars to meet the targets that they had, and they just didn't have the space to store the cars or the actual customers for them. So that was the problem when you've got a lot of stock out of business and you can't sell it, and the manufacturer is telling you to take more. That's not so good. We are proud to reaffirm our status as an official MG service and warranty centre, as well as a premier used car centre for all makes and models. I've driven a number of cars actually from their used car stock in the last couple of months, and yeah, they maintain a very high standard actually. Our commitment to providing you with reliable and expert service remains as strong as ever. As many of you know, the price of new cars has risen by over 30% in recent years. In response to this trend, we are pleased to offer you a cost-effective solution for updating your vehicle. We can help you transition to a new car, offering the benefits of modern features and improved performance at a significantly lower cost than purchasing a brand new vehicle. The thing is that a lot of the time, people used to buy cars on finance. So the last car we bought on finance actually was in 2017. We got the Tesla Lloyd, which was the first car on my channel in 2018. We don't actually use car finance anymore. We're in a position where we don't have to do that, which is a blessing. A lot of you have to. But what was happening was that some people who were paying like maybe $250 a month for their previous MGs came back into the garage and wanted another new MG. And because the finance rates have changed in the last few years, and also the price of the cars has increased, as it says in the letter, they weren't able to offer the sort of deals on the cars that they had been previously. So looking maybe £350–400 a month for exactly the same type of car, whereas it'd be maybe like $250 a month on a typical finance agreement. So our team is dedicated to assisting you in finding a perfect vehicle to suit your lifestyle and budget. Whether you're interested in upgrading or simply exploring options, we're here to guide you a step of the way. I mean, obviously, many other garages are available. I just read this for the sake of it. You know, a very long-standing MG dealer that's made this decision themselves. Thank you for choosing Summit Garage. We want to serve you and look forward to continuing your journey for many more years, etc., etc. Right. So, what does this actually sort of all mean? This is an example of one of the dealers who decided to not continue with selling new MGs. Brown and Gammon is another one, as far as I know, but there are others as well. Let's think about that now. So there we go, that's Summit Garage's letter that they've explained about. It's interesting to sort of see that obviously they're not the only people who have had this sort of issue, they're not the only people who have responded by just sign up to Summit, you don't use anymore. But it's sad that actually a garage that's a family-owned one, I think this was started in 1945 by the grandfather of the present owner, which is a bit crazy. They decided they don't want to do it anymore. You know, I wouldn't have ever expected that to happen. I would have never thought that Summit Garage themselves would be one of the places to drop the franchise that they have. One of the issues is that sometimes the cars aren't necessarily the most reliable. I have somebody who I met quite recently, and he'd actually watched my video on the 2021 MGZS 1 litre manual, and he decided that he was going to buy one. And he bought one, and he had some really quite bad problems. The car had done less than 10,000 miles in the clutch, and it wasn't even 2 years old. Now, the warranty claim on the clutch was rejected. Although it said the clutch components were covered, but they said it was down to sort of wear and tear, or driving style at 10,000 miles for a new clutch. And you'd have to be like almost physically trying to ruin the clutch to do it in 10,000 miles, I think. And so the channel viewer in question decided to cut his losses, pay £1,000 for the clutch replace, and he then bought another car, whereas he intended to keep that car because of the 7-year warranty for a number of years. He's not a very high mileage driver or anything like that. I mean, he's not a bad driver, just they rejected the claim. I spoke to Gary about this, and apparently this is a known issue with the 1 litre manual. The 1.5s are better, but they also do have one of the clutches, I've heard. And this isn't an isolated thing. I've heard of electrical problems, I've heard of rust in some models. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy any MG Motor UK products. I'm looking forward to testing these new ones next week and seeing what they're like and having a really open mind. I've heard actually that the new HS in particular is much better than the old one, which is music to my ears. But having had 2 HSs on test, one of which I covered 11 miles in the week in 2021, 2 ZSs on test as well, one in 2019 and one in 2021, and then 2 MG3s, 2019 and 2021. I know these cars pretty well, and generally I've been happy to recommend them, but I don't know now, it's a bit of a funny one. The MG3 Hybrid Plus is pretty good, but it's quite the character of the older MG3, which is fine. They're not necessarily going for that, they're going for whatever the market decides is better, which is things like the Renault Clio hybrid that's come out, and the Toyota Garage hybrid and things like that. Those are big sellers. So I understand why they're not going to reposition themselves. But I do wonder when they've been trying to make the dealers have more cars that they can sell, and they've got these sort of issues with cars in terms of reliability, that there's sort of manic growth over the last few years perhaps hasn't necessarily been the best strategy for them, all the customers, all the franchises. But I'm open to be corrected about all this. I'm open to my mind changed. I'm just telling you my thoughts at the moment, which is my opinion. I welcome what you have to say in the comment section below. If you've owned an MG since the sort of rebirth, like in 2008. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more surprisingly relevant discussion.